So I know there's a lot of interest, kind of going on with my health and things that happened last year. Uh, it was definitely an interesting situation. I'm very fortunate that I am able to continue playing this game. I'm very appreciative for all the support I received, from my family, my friends, my wife, but really the organization in a whole, from the Kraft family down to Coach Belichick to Josh Scar, all the coaches. And then, obviously all the doctors, our medical staff, strength staff continuously working with me. Uh, you know, the doctors I had to deal with, the time they spent with me, the questions, a lot of phone calls, our team doctors. So, I'm very appreciative for all that, appreciative that I was able to, as most of y'all know, saw me around the building last year. And, there was some talk about, how I was trying to contribute and, do whatever I could to help the football team. But now that's kind of in the past. I've kind of said what I wanted to say on that. Uh, and I'm just really looking forward to moving forward and get back to being a football player again. I'm really excited to get back out there whenever we can.
So first question will be Mike Giardi.
David, great to see you. Great to hear you. I'm curious if it's a two-parter. If there are any restrictions for you going forward, and what the doctors have told you about the potential of a recurrence.
I'm not really sure about if there's a real restriction on anything. I haven't been told that. You know, Part of it was the medicine I was on, and I'm off that medicine, so I can go about living my normal life. And you know, reoccurrence thing, is something unfortunately that you can't really pin down. So I'm just going to go about my life, keep playing this game and doing what I can, stay as healthy as I can, and think it was just kind of a freak accident thing.
Thank you.
Next question, Jim McBride, followed by Greg Bedard.
Hi, David. I know last year must have been frustrating with the uncertainty. I'm wondering, what was it like for you when you were told that you could return to playing football? How much relief was that, and how that day was?
I mean, it's great. That's what I want to do. I came here to play football, and not being out there, anybody that's hurt, not being out there, even if it's just for a week, whatever it may be, is tough on an athlete. We want to compete. We want to be out there. And so when you can't do that, it's obviously frustrating and tough. So, it was great to finally get that. And, like I said, just want to move forward now and, look forward to, 2020.
Hey, David.
Greg Bedard, followed by Mark Daniels.
Hey, David. A couple questions. Number one, can you you just called it an accident, or basically an accident. What happened as far as your health? Can you explain to us, exactly what was the root cause of it that maybe makes you think that this is not going to happen again? And the other thing I had a question is, are you restricted at all as far as altitude games, things like that? And has anything like that been talked about?
I've kind of said my piece on what I want to say about that. I don't necessarily feel like all my medical information needs to be out there. So, we've got a great medical staff. We have great doctors. I have some great doctors I've worked with. So, I'm clear to play football. I want to move forward with that and talk about, football coming forward. What happened, happened. You can't live your life in fear if it's going to happen again or not. It's a violent game and things happen, and, there's a lot of things that happen. So, that's just life. And so, I just want to move forward through that. And like I said, I kind of said what I wanted to say on my injury and, what I dealt with.
Mark Daniels, followed by Mike Petraglia.
Thanks, Stacy. David, would you say that the situation changed you at all? Do you have a different maybe outlook on life, on football after just going through everything?
I think, anytime you miss a season, and unfortunately, that happens every year to guys through injuries. It makes you take a step back and, miss and enjoy the grind a little bit. I still came into work every day, but I wasn't out there competing with the guys. I wasn't out there working with, so, and you miss that. You miss that part of it. You miss, it makes you appreciative, you know, you know, of the times, and, that's tough. So, you definitely appreciative. You get to do what you want to do. Sometimes I think we take, you know, health and things like that for granted. So it definitely makes you appreciative. And, it also kind of allowed me to look at the offense in a whole and pick up some new things, where I wasn't really focused on a game plan each week. I kind of got to look at it for a big picture. It's such a grind and it's such a rush from playing on Sundays to getting the film corrected and then moving forward to the next team. And, you've got a short week or, things like that. So, it's just a jumping around of a season. And, to be able to just kind of take a step back and look at the game as a whole and, you know, kind of watch NFL football from a different perspective. There was definitely some good things about it and, some fun things, but, like I said, as a competitor and guy who wants to play football, it sucks not being out there.
Thank you.
Mike Petraglia, followed by Dan Roach.
Thanks, Stacy. Thank you very much for doing this, David. I trust you're doing well and you and your family are doing well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to ask you about two people who obviously had a big impact on your pro career who won't be there next year, Dante Scarnecchia and Tom Brady. Can you reflect on what both of those guys have meant to your career?
Yeah, it's always tough. This is a tough business because there's always turnover, and it's been, kind of learned that very quickly in my NFL, life. And that was, we had, Dave, Coach Googe was my NFL coach, and that was my first coaching change in my pretty much whole life of football. So that was a different change. And then, every year it's kind of been somebody changing and someone leaving, adding players and, different coaches. Been pretty fortunate on the offensive side of the ball to have a lot of the same coaches, but, that's just part of this business. Scar's been so much to me. He taught me so much. It still means a lot to me and, thankful for, it's kind of weird saying it now, but I guess a friendship that we have, so Scar will always be around and, he's someone that, that relationship extends more than football. And, just to get the chance to play with a coach like that is, unreal experience. And then, obviously Tommy is who Tommy is. And, what a great experience it was to get to play, with him and, appreciative of him and, our friendship that we have, it was kind of the longest quarterback I've ever played with in any of the stages of my football career. So, it's always a special bond and, we'll remain friends for life.
Thank you.
Pam?
Dan Roach, followed by Mike Reese.
David, just kind of along those lines, it's a two-part question. How different will it be to have the center quarterback combination? How much will you have to work on that going forward when you guys eventually get back? But also, how much do you even pay attention to the fact that maybe some people are already writing you guys off because of the departures that you've had starting with Tom?
No, I mean, I'm pretty fortunate, worked plenty with Brian Hoyer, and had a lot of experience with Brian. He's been around for a while. And then I went all last spring with Jarrett, 6 weeks of training camp or whatever I made it was in training camp to get to work with him at times. So, there's always a new challenge in the NFL. Whether it was coming in after my rookie year and, having Joe Tooney play to me, or, years later, Trent Brown next up. So, there's always a new challenge. It's just part of this business, part of this league. All the stuff about whatever anyone wants to say, everyone has an opinion. All we can do is go out there and control what we control. It started, past week or so, or however long it's been of the off-season program, and it's kind of in the same boat here. So control what we can control, make the most out of each day, and kind of put your head down and look up where you are later.
Mike Reese, followed by Ian Steele.
All right. Hey, David, how are you?
Doing great. How are you, Mike?
Good to see you. I see you got the lid on. You never miss an opportunity for the alma mater, right?
No, not at all. So
There you go.
I took a sweatshirt off, so I didn't want to double it up too much.
There you go. I like it. As one of the leaders on the team, like how much have you been able to get a sense of how all the leaders are leading as you guys transition? You know, you talked about moving on from one of the most iconic players in the league. You know, like how is that going?
I think you don't do anything out of the ordinary. I think leadership sometimes can be, you can kind of see through it if there's some BS in it. Be who you are. Do what got you here. Just do it better and do it more. So I think, it is what it is. It's being in the NFL. It's part of this business. So, I don't think you have to, no, there doesn't need to be a Superman anywhere. We just need to go out there and do our jobs as collectively as a group. Provide good leadership. Even if he was here or wasn't here, whoever was here. So that's our job, and that's what we'll try to do.
Thank you.
Next question, Ian Steele, followed by Bob Sosi.
Hi, David. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Glad you're doing well. Last year, it was a different year for you. You were sitting out. You were on injured reserve. And right now, there's a lot of influx with the NFL. Camps may get delayed. The season may get delayed. Considering what the country's going through right now and what the NFL may be going through moving forward, is that kind of like oh man, I just got cleared and now I may have to wait? Or is there a little bit of, once you get back in, an added appreciation for being in the facility and being with all the guys once again, now that this has been delayed a little?
I think both. I mean, this has definitely been a tough time, not only, everyone in our country, but the world. And fortunate to be healthy and my family to be healthy. And, but, can't really do anything about it right now. Just like I said, take each day at a time. I'm ecstatic to when we are able to get back. It's been fun, being with the guys in whatever way we can. That's, always fun. It's kind of, by the end of the season, everyone's kind of sick of each other and everyone needs a break. And then, it's kind of like the first day of school. That off-season program is so great to see everyone. You've missed everyone. You're refreshed. So, definitely excited to get back to it and be a team. But it just is what it is, and we'll take it one day at a time.
Next question will be Bob Sosi, if I can find him here. Go ahead, Bob.
All right, thanks, Stacy. David, good to see you and talk to you again. Thank you.
Sir.
Regarding Ian's question, in this uncertain time with you guys doing things virtually, how are you physically preparing yourself for the coming season? And then beyond that, related to Mike's question, have you been able to connect with some of your younger teammates, obviously some new guys and through the draft coming in on the offensive line, for example, and others as well acquired during the offseason?
Yeah, how the off season would usually work. We wouldn't be doing really football drills right now anyway. We'd just be kind of working out and meeting. So there's really nothing that can inhibit you from doing that much. There's turf fields and grass fields out, and get out in your yard and run and do some drills on air. The way the off season's set up, that's kind of what we'd be doing right now anyway. So no reason you can't go do that. And guys are being creative, finding ways to work. Whether it's in your garage or whatever it may be. So, you got to take it one day at a time. And, it's kind of everyone's in the same situation as us. It's not like, every other place has got, just crazy, or they're at the facilities working out or anything like that. So everyone's kind of in the same boat. And then what was the last part of that question, Bob?
In terms of connecting with some of the young teammates and to know the new guys during this period.
Yeah, haven't yet. they'll come in here soon. That's kind of how the process is always. There's vets are back working a couple days, and then get to reach out to them and talk to them once they get joined in here. So let them get. They got a lot of loose ends that tie up and getting ready to go here, and so we'll see them soon.
Great, thank you.
And I've got a lot more questions here, but I'm going to wrap it up with two final questions. We'll go Phil Perry and Yanni Caracas. Go ahead, Phil.
Thanks, Stacy, and thanks for doing this, David. Wanted to ask you about one of the guys you mentioned a minute ago, Jarrett Stidham. Got a chance to work with him, obviously, before last season. But I'm curious what your relationship is like, having been around him at least last year when you were in the building as often as you were. And if he is given a significant role this year, how do you feel like he would handle it based on what you do know of him?
Yeah, Jarrett's a great kid. Was still able to, especially during the season, at times we'd hang out a lot and stuff. So, try to, whatever quarterback's in that room, I try to build a bond with them, whether it's, been Jimmy, Brian, Danny Etling, whoever's been in there, you try to build a bond because, it's obviously one play away from anyone playing. And that's just the way it is. So, I think, I look back on my rookie year and can remember, the growth I saw from my, rookie season to my second year and how the game started to click a little bit and make sense a little bit more. So that for all those players, is just, a natural thing coming from that first to second year. Your first year is such a whirlwind. It's such a long year from going from bowl games to training to pro day, OTAs, mini camps, all that training camp. It's just, for a year, it's nonstop. So, the growth from your first to second year is so huge. So, we bring in great players. Coach Belichick brings in great football players, and we have a lot of great guys in this locker room that are committed to winning. So that's the set, and the tradition from guys and how they handle situations.
Thanks, Dave.
And last question will be Yanni Caracas.
Hey, David, with the departure of Scar and Tom, how nice is it to have the continuity of the same core guys up front on the offensive line coming back this year? And just wanted to ask you, are you in Georgia right now or are you in New England?
So first off, I am in New England. So me and my wife stayed up here this off season. She was in some esthetician school, so she was doing that, and I was, just being up here and hanging out. So we're up here. And then the first part of that, it's great having those guys. Especially the four, Marcus, Shaq, Joe. I played a lot of football with them. Obviously didn't play much with Isaiah last year. But played a lot of football with them. A lot of those guys have played football, and now it's going Isaiah's third year in the league. And then also Cole Popovich and Carm, it's not like these are, someone that they brought in and a lot of us haven't even met. These are guys that, Cole's been there for a while and Carm's been there since last year. So, pretty much everyone in the room right now, other than the rookies, have a relationship with those guys, familiar with them. So I think that helps a lot, so, having those guys that we've been around for a long time and have been in our system, helps a lot because there's a lot of continuity there.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for joining the call.